You are surrounded by food that looks abundant, colorful, and modern, yet quietly stripped of its original purpose. Calories are everywhere. Nutrition is not. We have engineered convenience so efficiently that survival traits once essential to humanity now seem unnecessary, even suspicious. The uncomfortable truth is that some of the most powerful foods humans ever relied on are no longer missing because they failed us. They vanished because they refused to fit the system that replaced them. Every winter, you pass one of them without noticing. On roadsides, in wind-scoured fields, in places where nothing else survives. You don't stop. You don't ask why it's there. You've been trained not to. You've been taught that value comes from packaging, from polish, from something that needs protection. This plant doesn't ask for any. And because of that, you were never encouraged to see it. Here's what makes that uncomfortable. This plant produces fruit that can contain up to 10 times more vitamin C than an orange. It thrives where temperatures drop far below zero. It stabilizes soil, feeds wildlife, and survives neglect that would kill most crops. It once traveled with armies, sustained explorers, and protected entire populations from seasonal collapse. And today, it's treated like background noise, something between a shrub and a weed, something you assume has nothing left to offer you. That plant has a name: sea buckthorn. Long before it was pushed to the edges of maps, sea buckthorn stood at the center of survival cultures. In Central Asia, its berries were dried and carried across trade routes where fresh food vanished for months. In Northern Europe and Siberia, it was harvested as winter insurance not because it was pleasant, but because it worked. Ancient healers recorded it not as a miracle, but as a stabilizer, something that kept people functional when the environment was actively trying to break them. Even war horses were fed its leaves and berries to maintain strength when forage disappeared. That alone should make you pause. So the question becomes unavoidable. Why would a plant this resilient, this nutritionally dense, this historically trusted disappear from modern diets almost entirely? Why would something that solved so many problems be quietly erased from the everyday conversation about food? The answer starts in its biology. Sea buckthorn is not a cooperative organism. It does not grow neatly. Its branches are armored with thorns. Its berries cling tightly and ripen unevenly. It spreads aggressively, fixing nitrogen into damaged soil and claiming land that industrial crops abandon. It doesn't wait for fertilizer schedules. It doesn't die when winters hit hard. It doesn't ask permission. From a biological standpoint, it is living infrastructure designed to survive stress, scarcity, and abuse. Compare that to what dominates grocery stores now. Fruits bred for uniform size, predictable color, soft skin that bruises easily but looks appealing under lights. A modern orange might deliver around 50 milligrams of vitamin C. Sea buckthorn berries can deliver several hundred per comparable weight. Many grocery fruits lose nutritional density as shelf life increases. Sea buckthorn doesn't care about shelves. It evolved for storms, not displays. The comparison is embarrassing not because modern food is evil, but because it has been optimized for the wrong battlefield. The opposing force wasn't a villain with a name. It was speed, uniformity, machinery. The need for crops that could be planted in perfect rows, harvested by machines, shipped thousands of miles, and sold without explanation. Sea buckthorn resisted all of that. Its thorns slow harvest. Its berries resist clean separation. Its yields vary by region and season. It refuses to behave like an industrial product. That resistance made it inconvenient. In a system built on predictability and scale, inconvenience is fatal. Crops that demand human attention, local knowledge, and patience are liabilities. They don't fit spreadsheets. They don't fit contracts. They don't fit the illusion that food should be effortless. So sea buckthorn was quietly reclassified, not officially banned, not loudly condemned, just ignored. Pushed into categories like forage, hedge, or non-commercial. And then came the cultural training. Children learned which fruits were real, bright, sweet, familiar. Anything sour, thorny, or difficult was framed as inferior. Poor people food. Emergency food. Something you only touch if you have no choice. Over time, memory did the rest. A plant once associated with resilience became associated with irrelevance. a survival ally became invisible. Yet it never left. It kept growing where others failed. Along coastlines where salt kills crops. In frozen ground where orchards collapse. On land stripped bare by overuse. Sea buckthorn does not wait for permission to be useful. It simply continues. Today, small growers, conservationists, and traditional communities are slowly remembering. Not loudly, not as a trend, but as a quiet correction. They recognize that resilience has value again. That nutrition tied to survival matters more than appearance. That independence from fragile supply chains is not nostalgia, it's intelligence. They don't talk about sea buckthorn as a cure or a miracle. They talk about it as a reminder of what was lost when convenience replaced competence. This doesn't mean the plant is perfect. Its berries are intensely sour. They require care to process. Improper handling can waste much of what makes them valuable. Like many powerful foods, it demands respect. That difficulty is not a flaw, it's a filter. It ensures that only those willing to engage thoughtfully benefit from it. And that brings us to the point that matters. Reclaiming plants like sea buckthorn is not about rejecting modern life. It's about remembering that nature already solved problems we are trying to outsource. It's about restoring respect for organisms that don't collapse when systems do. When you learn to recognize these forgotten allies, you begin to see the landscape differently. You stop walking past resilience. You stop mistaking polish for power. The future does not belong to the most engineered solution. It belongs to the most adaptable one. And some of those solutions have been waiting quietly, thorned and ignored, for us to remember why we once depended on them.